Welcome to the Astrotherapy podcast. I am your host, Ciela Winter, and I am thrilled to dive deep into the inner realms of provocative thought while discovering an array of astrological and psychological insights to accompany us on this quest of self-inquiry. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's podcast and my very earnest approach to showing up in the midst of being human. Oh my God, the juxtaposition of the love, the beauty, the blessings that I am counting every day, and the devastation that I believe every human being is actually experiencing in their heart on one level or another. That's powerful and it's intense. And some of us are feeling it in our body. Some of us are feeling it in our relationships, in our communities, in our countries, our families. So thank you for being here, listening during this time, and sharing the part of you that may be feeling devastated or sad with me as we go through this together. So the question for today: how does grief become you? And this week has been a strong one. Beautiful in many ways, but also incredibly painful as I've been pulled into an ocean of grief. And as someone who loves change, I also contend to romanticize the notion until it becomes so real that there is nowhere else to go except into the change itself. And there within lies the death of what has been. I then enter a mourning over that loss and later find myself steeped in prayers for the eventual rebirth of what may come. But that mourning is a deep part of the journey. And the stars this week point to a radical letting go. Release is in the air, and somehow I just wish it wasn't. Now that is my attachment to previous dreams talking, so don't mind me. What isn't working will be pulled off with force unless you take the initiative. You can thank Pluto for this, as well as the dance between Mars and Venus circulating the Lord of the underworld, initiating radical shifts in the tectonic plates of your life. Anyone else feeling this? You will feel it most in the area where Pluto is transiting your chart. We've talked about this in a previous episode. You can refer to that. However, all of us will have to face the changes within our particular Aquarian nature in relationship to technology, the collective, our shared future, and that which Aquarius rules, including our friendships, communities, boundaries, dreams, visions. And Pluto in Aquarius has such a different vibe, don't you think? Do you notice how I keep referring to this? It's because we've entered into a new era. And I'm still getting used to this momentum as Pluto has unearthed from Capricorn with such a powerful force, bringing the unexpected into view. We can thank Uranus, the co-ruler of Aquarius, for this dynamic. So grief. I pulled the Three of Swords card, which represents, according to Angelus Arian, the events or sorrows that has pierced our nature to the core, symbolized by the swords piercing the lotus blossom, with petals falling from its stem. Let me say that again. Events or sorrow that has pierced our nature to the core, symbolized by the swords piercing the lotus blossom with petals falling from its stem. As I read this back to you and reflect on this card, I'm just in awe of what lives inside of it for us in this moment. And pulling this card is actually an invitation for me to rewire my thinking, eliminate the negativity, resentment, the pain that I may be harboring, and change my perspective fully in order to move forward and let go. In other words, big inner work and potential somatic reflection in the body that shows up particularly in the lungs. Now, as I write this, and I'm sure you can hear it, I'm swimming in my lungs and observing. Wow, that was right on time. Again, how every time I am brought deeper than ever before into a transmutation of a core lesson, I not only feel it in my body, but I process and live it in very unpleasant physical ways. And I've been reflecting on how I learn my lessons so hard. Perhaps this is part of my Taurian moon nature, stubborn, steadfast, and loyal to a fault. Regardless of the reason, here I am again, moving through sadness and mourning over what has and could have been, with nowhere else to turn except toward my grief. Leo Tolstoy said, "Only people who are capable of loving strongly can also suffer great sorrow. But this same necessity of loving serves to counteract their grief and heals them." Thank you again for joining me. All my best to you, and please receive the peace of my heart that lives inside these words.